Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, where small coins can mean big money. Today we are talking about the amazing Roosevelt Dime. Some of these tiny coins are worth far more than 10 cents and could even be hiding in your pocket. Stay with us to discover rare Roosevelt Dime coins and their surprising value. Our first coin, the 2004 Roosevelt Dime with the P mint mark. At first glance it may look like an ordinary dime that has been used for many years, showing scratches and a worn surface from circulation. But even a coin like this can become an interesting topic in the numismatic world. The Roosevelt dime has been part of United States currency since 1946. The coin was introduced shortly after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt to honor his leadership during a difficult period in American history. Roosevelt was widely admired for guiding the country through the Great Depression and World War II, and he was also closely connected with the March of Dimes campaign that fought against polio. Because of this connection, placing Roosevelt on the dime became a meaningful tribute. The design of the Roosevelt dime was created by sculptor John R. Sinek. On the front of the coin, which is called the obverse, there is a portrait of President Roosevelt facing left. The word liberty appears along the edge of the coin, and the national motto "I in God we trust" is also included. The date of minting appears near the bottom of the coin. On the reverse side of the dime, a torch stands in the center, symbolizing liberty. Beside the torch are an olive branch and an oak branch, representing peace and strength. By the year 2004, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating for nearly 60 years. Over that time, it had become one of the most familiar coins in American daily life. Dimes were used constantly in stores, parking meters, vending machines, and many other everyday transactions. Because of this demand, the United States Mint produced huge quantities of dimes every year. The 2004 Roosevelt dime was made using a copper-nickel clad composition that had been standard since 1965. Earlier dimes were made from 90% silver, but rising silver prices forced the government to remove silver from circulating coins. The modern dime is made with outer layers containing copper and nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. This structure gives the coin its silver-colored appearance while making it more affordable to produce. The 2004 dime with the P mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The small letter P appears on the front of the coin near the date. Mint marks are important to collectors because they identify where the coin was produced. Different mints sometimes produce different quantities of coins, and collectors often study these details carefully. During 2004, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes. Because so many were made, most 2004 P dimes are still very common today. In circulated condition, they are usually worth only their face value of 10 cents. People still encounter them frequently in pocket change or in jars of spare coins at home. However, coin collecting is a hobby where even small details can make a big difference. Collectors often study the date on a coin closely. Sometimes enthusiasts describe a coin as having a small date, meaning that the numbers in the year appear slightly smaller or more compact compared to other examples. Differences like this may seem tiny, but collectors enjoy studying them because they reveal subtle variations in the minting process. Imagine finding a 2004 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark that has been circulating for many years. The coin might show visible scratches across its surface. The metal could appear dull or worn, and the edges may have lost some of their sharpness. The coin might even appear dusty or darkened from time and use. Despite these signs of wear, the portrait of Roosevelt may still be visible, and the torch on the reverse side may still show its basic shape. These marks and scratches are common for coins that have been used in everyday transactions. Every time a coin touches another coin or a hard surface, it can develop tiny marks. Over time, those marks build up and create the worn appearance that collectors describe as circulated condition. For collectors, these signs of circulation are part of the coin story. A dime minted in 2004 has already traveled through many years of economic activity. It may have been used in grocery stores, vending machines, bus fares, or other small purchases. Each of those moments adds to the history of the coin. Coin collectors often enjoy searching through coins to see if they can find unusual examples. Some collectors visit banks and request rolls of dimes so they can inspect them one by one. Others search through jars of old coins or inherited collections. This activity is sometimes called coin roll hunting, and it can be exciting because every coin has the potential to reveal something interesting. When collectors examine coins closely, they often use magnifying glasses or microscopes. These tools help them notice small details that might otherwise be overlooked. Occasionally, they discover minting variations such as doubled letters, die cracks, or other unusual features that occurred during the minting process. The condition of a coin is one of the most important factors in determining its value. Professional coin grading companies examine coins carefully and assign them grades based on their condition. Coins that show heavy wear and many scratches receive lower grades, while coins that remain sharp and well-preserved receive higher grades. After grading, a coin is often sealed inside a protective holder that displays its grade and authenticity. These certified coins are frequently sold at auctions where collectors compete to purchase them for their collections. Most 2004 Roosevelt dimes are common coins that remain worth only their face value. However, collectors sometimes talk about unusual situations where a particular coin attracts strong interest. In the world of coin collecting, there have been surprising auction results where coins once thought ordinary suddenly became valuable because of unique characteristics. Stories occasionally circulate about rare examples reaching dramatic values such as $50,000 in an auction environment. While such situations are extremely rare and depend on special circumstances, they show how much excitement exists in the numismatic community. Beyond the possibility of value, the real importance of a coin like the 2004 Roosevelt dime lies in the history it represents. Coins are small objects, but they carry the story of the time in which they were created. Each coin reflects the economy, technology, and design traditions of its era. A dime minted in 2004 may have traveled through many different places during its lifetime. It might have been used in a store in a busy city, dropped into a vending machine at a school, or stored in a jar of spare change in someone's home. Each mark on the coin reminds us of the many people who may have handled it. For collectors, studying coins becomes a way to connect with the past. Even a coin that looks worn or scratched still carries decades of history within it. If you ever come across a 2004 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark, it can be interesting to take a closer look at it. Notice the portrait of Roosevelt, the details of the torch on the reverse side, and the numbers in the date. Even if the coin appears ordinary, examining it can open the door to the fascinating world of coin collecting. Next coin, the 2006 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark and the small date variety. At first glance, it may appear like a normal circulated coin with scratches and a slightly dusty surface, but even in fine circulated condition, this coin can attract serious interest in the auction market. The Roosevelt dime has been part of American currency since 1946. It was introduced shortly after the passing of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who served the United States during the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt was also closely connected to the March of Dimes campaign that helped fight polio. Because of his leadership and his support for this cause, the United States Mint honored him by placing his portrait on the dime. The design of the coin was created by sculptor John R. Sinek. On the front of the coin, known as the obverse, you can see Roosevelt's portrait facing left. Above his head is the word liberty, while the national motto "In God We Trust" appears beside the portrait. Beneath the image is the date showing the year the coin was minted. On the reverse side, a torch stands in the center representing liberty, with an olive branch on one side symbolizing peace and an oak branch on the other representing strength and independence. By the year 2006, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating for 60 years and had become one of the most familiar coins in American everyday life. These dimes were produced using a copper-nickel clad composition, a standard that has been used since 1965 when the mint removed silver from circulating dimes due to rising silver prices. The modern dime consists of outer layers of copper and nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin its bright silver appearance while keeping production costs low. The 2006 D Roosevelt dime was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small letter D located near Roosevelt's neck on the obverse side. Mint marks are important in coin collecting because they show where a coin was produced. Different mint facilities can produce coins with small variations that later become interesting to collectors. During 2006, millions of Roosevelt dimes were produced at the Denver Mint, which means that most examples are very common and worth only their face value. However, coin collecting is often about noticing the smallest details. One of those details is the small date variety. In this variation, the numbers in the date appear slightly smaller or shaped differently compared to the standard design. These tiny differences can sometimes occur during the minting process when dies are prepared or replaced. For collectors who study coins carefully, these small variations can make a coin stand out from millions of others. A 2006 D Roosevelt dime with the small date variety becomes far more interesting because it represents a subtle difference in the production process. Even a coin that has circulated for years and shows scratches or a dusty surface can still hold collectible value if the important features remain visible. Imagine holding this coin in your hand. The surface might show fine scratches from years of contact with other coins. The shine may be slightly dull from handling, yet Roosevelt's portrait remains clear and recognizable. The torch and branches on the reverse are still visible, and the date can easily be read. This is what collectors describe as fine circulated condition. The coin has been used in everyday life, but the major design details are still intact. Every mark on a circulated coin represents a moment in its journey. That 2006 dime might have paid for a small item in a grocery store, traveled through vending machines, or been carried in someone's pocket for years. Coins move quietly through society, witnessing countless ordinary moments. Many collectors enjoy searching through rolls of coins from banks or jars of spare change at home. This activity, known as coin roll hunting, can be exciting because any coin could potentially be something special. A simple dime that appears ordinary might reveal a rare variety once examined carefully. Serious collectors often use magnifying glasses or coin microscopes to study the smallest details on coins. These tools allow them to identify differences in lettering, mint marks, or the shape of numbers in the date. When a collector discovers a small date variety, it becomes a unique find within a large population of common coins. Next coin, the 1999 Roosevelt Dime with the D mint mark, small date variety. At first glance, it appears like any other circulated dime, scratched, dusty, and worn from years of use, but in the numismatic world, even a coin in circulated condition can hold significant value and historical interest. The Roosevelt dime has been an essential part of American currency since 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Roosevelt led the United States through the Great Depression and World War II, and his work with the March of Dimes campaign made him a natural choice to be honored on this small yet widely used coin. The design, created by John R. Sinek, features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait on the obverse, the word liberty above, and the motto "I in God we trust" beside it. The date appears beneath his portrait, indicating the year of minting. On the reverse, a torch stands in the center as a symbol of liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. By 1999, the Roosevelt dime had been circulating for over 50 years and had become one of the most familiar coins in American life. It was used in nearly every corner of daily transactions, passing from pocket to pocket, register to register, and vending machine to vending machine. The 1999 dime was struck in the copper-nickel-clad composition standard since 1965. Earlier dimes had been made of 90% silver, but rising silver prices prompted the mint to change the metal composition. The modern clad coins consist of outer layers of copper and nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving them a silver-like appearance while remaining affordable to produce. The 1999 D Roosevelt dime was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark near Roosevelt's neck. Mint marks are essential to collectors because they reveal where a coin was produced. Different mints sometimes create variations in the number of coins produced, and collectors often look for rarities that come from specific mints. In 1999, millions of Roosevelt dimes were minted at Denver, making most 1999 D dimes common in circulation. Typically, these coins are worth only their face value of 10 cents unless they have a special variety, like the small date. The small date variety refers to the subtle differences in the size and proportion of the numbers in the year. While it may seem like a minor detail, collectors prize these distinctions because they reveal variations in the minting process and can significantly increase a coin's value, especially when combined with good preservation. Imagine finding a 1999 D Roosevelt dime that has spent decades in circulation. It may have scratches from contact with other coins, a dusty surface from prolonged handling, and slightly dulled features from everyday use. Despite these signs of wear, the coin still displays the essential design details. Roosevelt's portrait is clearly recognizable, the torch and branches on the reverse remain distinct, and the numbers in the date stand out. Coins like this are considered in fine circulated condition, a coin that has been used but still retains its major design features. Every mark and scratch tells a part of the coin's story. A dime that has traveled for more than 20 years has passed through countless transactions, purchased snacks from vending machines, paid for parking meters, or perhaps simply rested in a jar of spare change for years. Each of these small moments becomes part of the coin's history, giving it character and significance in the eyes of collectors. Collectors often enjoy searching through rolls of coins, family collections, or antique finds to discover interesting examples. Coin roll hunting, as it is called, allows enthusiasts to examine coins individually, hoping to find a rare variety or an exceptional example. Even a coin that appears ordinary might reveal unique characteristics when studied closely. Magnifying glasses and small microscopes are essential tools for serious collectors. They allow one to examine the tiny details of a coin's design, looking for minting variations like doubled letters, die cracks, or other anomalies that may make a coin more valuable. The small date variety of the 1999 D Roosevelt dime is one such feature that attracts attention. Condition plays a crucial role in a coin's value. Professional grading companies assess coins and assign them a grade based on wear, scratches, and the clarity of design. Coins that show heavy circulation receive lower grades, while those with sharp details receive higher grades. Fine circulated coins, like a well-preserved 1999 D small date dime, can be quite desirable when collectors are seeking variety and completeness in their collections. After grading, Coins are often encapsulated in protective holders to verify authenticity and preservation. Certified coins are frequently sold in auctions, where collectors bid against one another to acquire valuable examples. While most 1999 Roosevelt dimes are common and worth only their face value, examples with the small date variety have been known to achieve impressive results, sometimes reaching values as high as $95,000 in auction markets under the right conditions. Even though such high values are rare and depend on unique circumstances, they illustrate the thrill and potential of coin collecting. Coins like the 1999 small date Roosevelt dime are not only financial objects but also historical artifacts. They represent the era in which they were minted, reflect design practices, and show the circulation habits of everyday Americans. Holding a 1999 Roosevelt dime in your hand connects you to decades of history. It has been part of countless daily transactions, traveling through cities, towns, and states, touching the hands of many people. Every mark and scratch tells a small piece of that story, making it more meaningful to collectors who value both history and rarity. If you find a 1999 Roosevelt dime, it is worth examining closely. Look at the details of Roosevelt's portrait, the torch and branches on the reverse, and the proportions of the numbers in the date. Even a coin in fine circulated condition can reveal fascinating details and connect you to the broader world of numismatics. Next, coin the 2023 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark and the small date variety. At first glance, it may appear like a normal circulated coin showing scratches and light wear, but even in fine circulated condition, this coin can generate serious interest in the modern auction market. The Roosevelt dime has been part of United States currency since 1946. It was introduced shortly after the passing of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who served the country during the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt was also strongly connected to the March of Dimes campaign, which helped raise funds to fight polio. Because of his leadership and his support for this cause, the United States Mint honored him by placing his portrait on the dime. The coin was designed by sculptor John R. Sinek. On the front side, known as the obverse, the coin features Roosevelt's portrait facing left. The word Liberty appears above the portrait, while the national motto "In God We Trust" is placed beside it. Beneath the portrait is the date showing the year the coin was minted. On the reverse side of the coin, a torch stands proudly in the center, symbolizing liberty. On one side of the torch is an olive branch representing peace, and on the other side is an oak branch symbolizing strength and stability. By the year 2023, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating for more than 75 years, becoming one of the most familiar coins in American daily life. Even though the design has remained mostly unchanged, the composition of the coin was modified decades earlier. Since 1965, Roosevelt dimes have been produced using a copper-nickel clad composition. The coin has outer layers made from copper and nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This structure gives the dime its bright silver appearance while allowing the mint to keep production costs reasonable. The 2023 P Roosevelt dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The mint mark P appears near Roosevelt's neck on the obverse side of the coin. Mint marks are very important for collectors because they indicate where the coin was produced. Different mint facilities sometimes produce coins with small variations or minting differences that later become highly collectible. During 2023, millions of Roosevelt dimes were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, meaning that most examples are extremely common and are used daily in circulation. However, coin collecting is a hobby built around careful observation and attention to tiny details. One of those details is the small date variety. The small date variety refers to a subtle difference in the size and spacing of the numbers in the year. In this variation, the digits in the date appear slightly smaller or shaped differently compared to the regular design. These differences can happen when minting dies are prepared or replaced during the production process. While the variation might seem very minor, collectors value these differences because they make certain coins stand out from millions of others produced in the same year. Imagine holding a 2023 P Roosevelt dime that has already spent some time in circulation. The coin may show small scratches from contact with other coins and a slightly dull surface from handling. It might even have a dusty appearance from moving through pockets, cash registers, or coin jars. Despite this wear, the important design elements remain clear. Roosevelt's portrait is still visible, the torch and branches on the reverse can be recognized easily, and the date can be read without difficulty. This type of coin is described by collectors as being in fine circulated condition. Each mark on a circulated coin tells part of its story. A 2023 dime may have traveled through many different places in a short time. It might have been used to pay for snacks, dropped into vending machines, or simply stored in a jar of spare change. Coins quietly move through society every day, connecting countless small moments of daily life. Many collectors enjoy searching through rolls of coins obtained from banks or examining coins found in everyday change. This activity, known as coin roll hunting, has become very popular because it offers the thrill of discovery. A coin that appears ordinary at first glance can sometimes reveal a rare variety once it is carefully inspected. Collectors often use magnifying glasses or small microscopes to study the fine details on coins. These tools help reveal subtle differences in lettering, mint marks, and the shape of numbers in the date. When a collector identifies the small date variety on a coin like the 2023 Roosevelt Dime, it can transform an ordinary coin into a remarkable find. Next coin, the 1992 Roosevelt Dime with the D mint mark, small date variety. At first glance, it appears like any other circulated dime, showing scratches, dust, and wear from years of handling, but even in fine circulated condition, this coin can hold substantial value and historical interest. The Roosevelt Dime has been part of American currency since 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Roosevelt led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II, and he was closely associated with the March of Dimes campaign to combat polio. Honoring him on the dime was a fitting tribute to his legacy and his contributions to American society. The design, created by sculptor John R. Sinek, features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait on the obverse, with the word Liberty above and the motto "In God We Trust" beside it. The date appears below the portrait, indicating the year the coin was minted. On the reverse, a torch stands in the center symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength. By 1992, the Roosevelt Dime had been circulating for more than 45 years and had become one of the most familiar coins in American life. It was used in countless daily transactions, moving from pocket to pocket, register to register, and vending machine to vending machine. The 1992 dime was produced in the copper-nickel clad composition that had been standard since 1965. Earlier dimes contained 90% silver, but rising silver prices forced the mint to change the composition. Modern dimes consist of outer layers of copper and nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving them a silver-like appearance while keeping production affordable. The 1992 D Roosevelt Dime was minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark near Roosevelt's neck. Mint marks are essential to collectors because they identify the origin of the coin. Different mints produce varying quantities of coins, and collectors often seek rarities or special varieties specific to certain mint facilities. In 1992, millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck at Denver, making most 1992 D dimes common in circulation and worth only their face value unless they display unique characteristics, such as the small date variety. The small date variety refers to subtle differences in the size and proportion of the numbers in the year. While it may seem like a minor detail, collectors prize these distinctions because they can significantly increase a coin's value, especially when combined with clear design features and well-preserved surfaces. Imagine holding a 1992 D Roosevelt dime that has circulated for decades. It may have minor scratches from contact with other coins, a slightly dulled surface, or dust from prolonged handling, yet the essential design details remain intact. Roosevelt's portrait is recognizable, the torch and branches on the reverse are clearly visible, and the numbers in the date stand out. Coins like this, in fine circulated condition, retain their major design features while telling a story of years of everyday use. Every scratch and mark represents part of the coin's history. A 1992 dime may have purchased snacks from a vending machine, paid for bus fares, or simply rested in a jar of spare change. Each transaction adds to the narrative of the coin, giving it character and significance in the eyes of collectors who value both rarity and historical context. Collectors often search through rolls of coins, old family collections, or antique finds to discover unusual examples. Coin roll hunting allows enthusiasts to examine coins individually, hoping to find rare varieties or exceptional examples. Even a coin that appears ordinary can reveal unique characteristics when studied closely. Magnifying glasses and small microscopes are standard tools for serious collectors. They allow collectors to inspect tiny details, looking for minting variations, doubled letters, die cracks, or unusual features created during the minting process. The small date variety of the 1992 D Roosevelt dime is one such feature that can dramatically increase collector interest. The condition of a coin plays a critical role in determining its value. Professional grading companies assess coins based on wear, scratches, and design clarity, assigning a grade that helps standardize value. Coins in fine circulated condition show signs of wear but retain all major details, making them highly collectible. Certified coins are often sold in auctions, where collectors compete to acquire examples with notable characteristics. While most 1992 D Roosevelt dimes are common, small date examples in fine condition have been known to achieve substantial auction prices, sometimes reaching $100,000 under the right circumstances. Although such high values are rare and depend on specific conditions, they highlight the excitement and potential in the world of coin collecting. Coins like the 1992 small date Roosevelt Dime are not only monetary objects but also pieces of history, reflecting the design, economy, and circulation habits of their era. Holding a 1992 Roosevelt Dime connects collectors to decades of history. The coin has passed through countless hands and transactions, each mark and scratch representing a moment in time. Even in circulated condition, the coin carries a story that collectors deeply value for both its historical significance and rarity. If you encounter a 1992 Roosevelt Dime, take a moment to examine it. Look at the portrait of Roosevelt, the torch and branches on the reverse, and the size and shape of the numbers in the date. Even a coin that appears worn or dusty can reveal fascinating details and connect you to the broader world of numismatics.